I'm very grateful to be here today. This is my first time speaking publicly about my experiences. I'm here at this convention because I am a hybrid and I am here to support the ascension. I'm here to support all beings, including humans. um, Basically, my objective today is to teach you the work that I have been doing in the Galactics and the work that I do with the Galactic Federation, my piece and my contribution, in the hopes that it will bring everyone who is engaged today into the full frequencies of the fifth realm of consciousness so that we can elevate this to the supreme capacity that we can today. Okay, so I have a presentation that I've created. And this presentation is a combination of sketches and paintings that I've created in my journaling process these past few years. I found art was the best medium for me in communicating and comprehending because it's so mystical out there in the astral world. There's not really a dictionary like the English dictionary. So I find that visuals for me make sense. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, if you could let me know if this is showing.
Yes, it's showing.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the first images you should be seeing are, thank you. This is the gamma rays that were recorded by NASA in the 2012 plasma insurgence. This at the time was the energy shift predicted by the Mayan calendar at the world's end, which I actually believe to be referred to as the rebirth of our world or our galaxy. So this particular plasma frequency is the plasma that came in from my species and what awoken me to this ascension at this time. I could just go down here. Here we go. So in the center, this is my true form. Her name is Zodfea. In a shamanic state, I left my body and I went into what appeared to be a library. And in this library, the walls broke down and a huge boulder appeared with 3 beams of light coming out of this boulder. She unfolded and handed to me this crystal. You can see in the center point, this is the frequency that the crystal looked for, liked to me visually at the time. This is the pink plasma, the same as the gamma rays that came in. So my instructions were to put this crystal in my center, and this adapted me to the frequencies of this particular species. I don't know if you're seeing left or right, but the tall being, that's the sketch. These are all around me. They're an aspect of her as well. They're loving, they're supportive, they're patient. They are all here on the same frequency of love to help support the shift to the 5th dimension. On the far side, you'll see a photograph that I've captured in my backyard. If you can see, this is actual digital photography. I captured this. And you can see a slight view of the pink face beside a dragon head and another face. I don't know if anybody's able to make that out.
Yeah, we can see it. Good job.
Okay.
It looks really nice.
Thanks. There's also a gentleman in the back here, if you can see. Now, I didn't know who he was at this time. He was very silent and just kind of present. I've later learned that this is in fact Christ Michael, which you'll be seeing throughout this process as well. So what I do with the pink gamma rays and this pink plasma is I actually blanket the world in this pink plasma. I tune into the pain and suffering that's occurring, and then I use this plasma like it's almost like a very warm, loving blanket that it comes into all beings on Earth and helps to remove the discordant energy in their bodies and their fields from the experiences that they're having. It was channeled by a friend of mine that by doing this particular process, I've helped 150 to 250,000 people a year, which I'm very grateful that I was able to do that and that she was able to tap into that. So here's the next piece of self. I'm going to be showing you my divine matrix. This is my most ancient earth aspect of self. I don't know the name of this particular species. Um, she's a queen. I was again in this sacred bath in the beginning, very confused by this whole process, very overwhelmed. And I asked, like, well, who am I? What is this about? And the first image of the sketch is what came forward. She kind of glided in with this long, silky silver hair.
And
And
you
then,
drew these, yes?
yes, I drew these. These are sketches from my sketchbook. The far one is a painting. I'm in the process of creating an oracle deck.
They're amazing. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So the one in the center, this is when she came forward and she started giving me, one of the things that happens when I connect with beings and aspects of self is the telepathic communication. So the skull is the complete structure that holds the frequency of the species. So within this skull cavity, which we're all familiar with the crystal skulls, which would be a variation of using this energy. With her skull cavity, she sent for geometric codes as well as using her eyes to help my body to adapt to her frequencies. Once this occurred, there was a merging of our two bodies, and I started seeing from her eyes and feeling from her heart. And you can see on the far side, her eyes have this crystalline view. She also carries the heart frequency of the Lemurian star seeds in her heart. Okay. So on the far side, you'll see the being with the horns. Um, as I was getting to know these aspects of myself and the purpose, I was brought to what is called the realm of Edens. So this would be each planetary system, each Earth, and each galaxy has their own version of an Eden. So this is the realm of Edens, and you'll find in here, I just drew one. It was the main one that I communicated with, but there's many walking around. It's very peaceful, very lovely. It's every being you can imagine. Greys, draconians, um, the pink ones, the zetas, all these beings, and then some. I'm still at a loss for word. This is going to be a long study for me for how many beings there actually are. So I was coming into here, and this particular being, he is from the island of Zeus. The island of Zeus is where the halls of ascended masters are. So it's a big philosopher library school. So he is what's referred to as the keepers of the gore. They're very temperamental. I hope that's the right word and he's not insulted, about the laws of the universe and the balance of the universe. And they keep records of this to teach and adjust when their species is called to support and help. So I was passing through and I went just behind him. There's the Fountain of Youth. And I was getting a drink of water from there because it was offered to me, quite frankly. So as I'm in drinking this crystalline water, the tree in the background, you can see this is the tree of life. The roots came out and sucked me into this infinite celestial water. Once I was in there, there's a second picture in the center. You can see this purple being, which is the one I previously showed you. Her name is in fact Rihanna, and for short we call her Rhea. Very similar to my name, noted. So once I was pulled into these roots, I was surrounded with all these sleeping beings. It was very eerie, in fact. So all these beings were around me. All this stuff was happening. It was a whirlwind. It was like a whirlpool of energy and water. I lost my breath. I felt like my heart stopped for a moment, in fact. And then the roots pulled me out. You can see the far side, and I was this watery, serpentine, feminine dragon. And so each species that I've met of myself has opened up the doorway to the next aspect. And these are how I do most of my galactic work. This dragon, in fact, moves at the speed of light, and I can use her, or we help each other. We use each other's frequencies to heal planets. My heart is a sun, so I'm able to pull suns out of my heart to help support planets and healing. I also use the rainbow frequencies after the previous plasma frequency that I described to help to activate the Kundalini and bring humanity into the rainbow sphere of complete peace, harmony, and acceptance. Let's go down a little bit more. Okay, so while in here, if we go back to this picture, I'm using it again. When I'm in the center of these trees, I've gone several times, but I just did one sketch. When I'm in the center of these roots with all these beings, this tree of life, and my head goes up in the center, I enter the great void. This is an incredible place. It is completely black with this strip. It kind of reminds me of a video game when I was a kid, Mario Kart. There's like this rainbow strip in this dark, dark, dark night sky, and it was really kind of scary. There was no edges, and this strip is similar to that memory I have. But what's unique is everything you think occurs. You think door, and then a door will appear. You think orange, and an orange will appear. You know, you think rainbows, and a rainbow will appear. There is no thought or creation that cannot occur in here. It's the great void. It's the center point of formless form. So through this experience, as well as connecting with twin aspects of myself, I met this higher aspect in the center named Octavia Maria. For short, we call her Now, she is the highest frequency to my knowledge that I work with, and she is pure sacred geometry, light, and movement. She's considered to be the I don't believe queen is the right word, perhaps empress of the draconians, as well as the blue avians, as well as the alpha centurions, all the reptilian hybrid races, essentially. And so this is another aspect of self that I've connected with. She's also deeply connected with the plant realm. The plant realm, which is so beautiful, is the same sacred geometry that we see in here, and it's the same sacred geometry that we're made of. We're all made of the same cosmic laws, and so they're just beautiful healings and teachings that come to us in plant form on Earth. The far picture, this was a retreat that I was at, and this is when it hit me that these were my high selves. I was instructed to just openly and vulnerably sketch beings that you connect with that give you the greatest feeling of love and support and respect. And I did that, and I did it with so much love. It's a sketchbook, it's a little tattered. And in the end, the instructor said, you just drew your high self. And I almost cried. I was the first time that it really hit me that I loved myself. And as we know in this human process, it's so important to find that self-love before we can share love. So that was a beautiful moment for me there. Okay, so this is the three combination of how I do most of my galactic work. So with the pink aspect, I work in the strengths of existence. I work with plasma. With the rainbow aspect, I work with the frequencies. So the tones, sounds, colors that any being are using to fully access their connection with the greatest love there is, which is Prime Creator. And then the following is the geometry. So what I will do is I will come in with the plasma. Let's go back to that blanket teaching. I will come in around the Earth or the planet or the universes as this pink plasma. What I do with this pink plasma is then I enter the fields, cleanse the bodies with this pink plasma. After those bodies are cleansed, I come in with the geometric form and I change the geometry, the DNA codes. We are all made of really beautiful sacred geometry. So I come in and repair that, whatever that might mean. The Ariane that's speaking right now has to go completely blank and stand out of my way. There's zero me involved. It's all higher self work. The second that I get involved, I start making mistakes. So it's typically best that I just go completely neutral and be in my heart space and just be one with the creator aspect that I am. Okay, further down. Okay, so I want to talk about platonic solids. As you can see from the previous images, that I work mostly with shape and form and color. So the platonic solids represents the elemental aspects that were divine to us on Earth. So these are how we function. We function with fire, creation energy. We function with air, that's breath, oxygen. We function with earth, that supports our feet. And we function with water, that gives us nutrients. So to raise to the fifth dimension is when we are fully attuned to functioning with the ethers. The ether is the dodecahedron, which is a 12-sided, 20-point, 30-edge sphere version of the pentagon. The dodecahedron, or the ether, as an element, represents the space in between us, and that is consciousness. So when we are connected with the space in between us and consciousness, that's when we are an evolved aspect of our species. So it's an important piece there as I continue down. So what we have on the far side is the dodecahedron is a simple version of the great stellated dodecahedron. This is a 32-pointed star. So when Prime Creator decided, I want this frequency to come to Earth, I'm going to share this level of love, I'm going to help this galaxy, this universe, he does it through thought, shape, form, and sound. So the stellated dodecahedron is actually the first form created after the Prime Creator had created this thought pattern for our species here on Earth. The first form is the divine feminine or divine mother, which is the stellated dodecahedron represents the 32-pointed star. As it moves through, if you look to the far side here, it moves through, these are prime number patterns and the Fibonacci series and spirals and the Taurus energy. So these shapes and forms plus the sound are how it's able to move. So you can see through the circles around the stellated dodecahedron, this represents the energy force, which is the masculine of the energy coming through. So every time it comes to another realm, before it gets to us, it gets smaller in size. So it goes from the 32-pointed star, so the great stellated dodecahedron, to the stellated dodecahedron, to the small stellated dodecahedron, to the dodecahedron. So these are the shapes and the movements of how Prime Creator sends energy to our frequency. To our realm, to our universe, to us, everybody here. Oops, sorry about that. Jumped. This is really important information. When we talk about Christ consciousness, when we talk about raising our consciousness, when we talk about connection, when we talk about oneness with the universe, this is what it looks like behind the scenes. This is what's happening all around everybody. These are the strings of existence, which basically create the template that geometry, form, and shape can, almost like a push-pull vacuum plus a magnetized consciousness, bring us all together. And this is where it starts from. Okay, this here is my core teacher. This is Christ Michael, everyone. So you can see in his eyes are the stellated dodecahedron. So he works in the frequencies of the ethers. He is the space and the Christ consciousness all around us. And this is, I say he, but there actually is no specific gender with this being. He is just the words that's coming out of my mouth right now. So if you can see the circles down the center of his face represent the movement and bringing the frequencies down and in. The upside down triangles at the top, this represents royalty. So this represents the highest frequency of healers, or they've come the farthest and are the closest to Prime Creator in terms of the work that they're supporting us in. So the stellated dodecahedron is in his eyes in that shape. So you basically, what this is representing, that he is the ethers. He is the healing around us. This is what he's here for, to support us in. So this is my prime teacher. Here we are. Here is what this dodecahedron talk and all these other beings was leading to. This is the first piece of healing that I want to share with everybody. So I have been gifted the channel of Quantum Reiki, which is the Reiki of the fifth realm of consciousness. Mikao Usui himself came out and took my attunement out of my head and put his own in and explained this to me. He, very loving man. This was gifted to me from Christ Michael, from the Archangel's Golden Book of Sacred Geometry. This was gifted to me in that same library where I had first met the pink plasma aspect of myself. So this is a geometry that is, it works on a cellular level, it works on a physical level, it works cell to cell, knee to knee, heart, all your different heart chakra, all your different chakras to each other, which I'll talk about later. Your root chakra, is basically a bridge system to help support consciousness rising up. So this helps to align relationships with all of them so they actually become a bridge. This also helps heart to heart, like with relationship, human to human. This helps around a household, so an entire family or a community or roommates. This helps in communities. This helps with towns, cities, and the globe. I use this in many, many ways. I wrap this around the earth as well. And so you'll see that it has all the different particular points, but because it's a mathematical consciousness and it's a sonic sacred sigil, it actually adjusts to the needs. It's completely intelligent. I always just trust. In the center, you'll see that this was a gift this is the flame of Ascended Master Saint Germain. He wanted to support in the clearing of the fields so that we could adapt our bodies to the fifth dimension of consciousness. This also is a huge support in, I don't know, well, this is an alien convention, so this is a huge support in adjusting to your alien consciousness on Earth at this time as well. In the stages where it can be a little bit uncomfortable and you want to go home, this just helps you to keep that relationship with yourself grounded and still feel like you are going to go home, you're a part of something beautiful, keep going. So I'm going to ask everyone to join me in a small meditation with this piece. And if you could take 3 fingers and place them below your belly button. The bottom finger is your 0 point. So I'm going to ask you to breathe into your belly, pushing your hand out. If you could breathe slowly, like water dripping into a bucket. It slowly fills the bucket from the bottom up. I want you to fill your lungs with breath from the bottom up. We're going to do 2 or 3 big breaths. Inhale, push your belly out. Hold. Exhale, push your belly in. Inhale. Belly out. Exhale. Belly in. Inhale. Belly out. Exhale. Belly in. Now, maintaining that breath, I'm going to ask you to stare at this sigil until your eyes go blurry, and then they readjust. I'm going to just sit in silence for about 10-15 seconds. Whew. I just felt it blanket everybody in the room. Thank you for following through. Okay, so this is with you all the time now. You can call upon the dodecahedron. You can call on the emerald green light. You can call on, there's Enochian, Saint Germain, all of the things that represent in this sigil right now. You can call upon that for all those moments of discomfort. I'm going to sit with that for one more second. Okay, moving on. Woo. So this here we have a crop circle as well as an image that to me reminded me of what I had learned from seeing these crop circles. So another one of my guides and teachers is the beloved Nikola Tesla. He is here for everybody on Earth this time. You just need to tap into it and believe. So what had happened was I was just having a very average human day. I was folding my children's laundry. And all the lights in the room sort of flickering, and then they went out, and then purple and blue streaks of electricity shot through the bedroom. I just kind of totally flaked out in this moment and continued to fold laundry. I didn't do anything. And then I heard gently beside me, well, maybe you should sit down for a minute. So I did. And he shared some things with me. He really wanted to teach me about this particular crop circle. He also showed me that he is one of the beings who is making the crop circles on our behalf to bring these frequencies and imprint them onto Earth. What he's done, he expressed to me, is that he basically uses his brain skull architecture space, just like the other beings, as well as the crystal skulls, just to bring you a reference. And he in his mind, his beautiful scientific mind, he creates this pattern or sacred sigil. He builds up the energy into the front of his forehead until it's crystalline clear to him. And then almost as like a big breath or a stamp, he slams that energy into the crop circle or into the land. And that's how he in particular creates crop circles. There's many beings who do, but that's his particular style. So he showed me how he did that, bless him. And so I just want everybody to know that how much he's supporting everybody. I feel, the lightworking community, the alien community, we all talk about him a lot. We know how much he contributed, but in general, people don't. And he's just such a loving, supportive being that wants the best for the entire globe. So just wanted to share that. So this crop circle represent to me a teaching that I've received through the Great Void. And this might get a little complicated for a moment. I hope I can be really clear. So the center of the crop circle, you can see there's two circles on either side with points pointing to the center. That represents Earth. Earth is basically, just a quick pause and back to geometry. These are the different geometric shapes and forms and vibrational frequencies, sonic frequencies that the planets that we are aware of, such as Saturn and Venus, create. Just a nice visual. Okay, here we go. So this is a sketch that I created. I'm sorry, I was hoping it would be a little bit bolder. I hope you can see it well. So this represents... Oh, thank you. This represents a very small scale. It's not to accurate scale. The teaching that Nikola Tesla was sharing with me with the serpent and the Earth being the center core. Now, if you can see here, Earth is in the center, and it has the stellated dodecahedron. Again, you're going to see that repeated. This is the key to adjusting to the fifth dimension. It's adjusting to the next element, which is ether. How can I explain this? So what I was shown, now Earth is carrying a very special ability to handle beings from all the way above and all the way below. We are dealing with low vibrational dark entities, all the way up to really high benevolent entities. And this is unique to Earth. This is unique to our species. The low vibration, free will is a lower vibration. Because of that, we're able to have a strong level of empathy for lower vibration. Because of that empathy, this is part of the reason that the lower vibration is able to connect with us and communicate with us. So all of these planets are aligned. They are so far away from each other. Our technology has not caught up to it at all. They're just way too far. But this is essentially the architectural mind of Crime Creator. So what I was shown is you see Earth in the center. Again, all the planets that are below, these were all dark. Their crystal cores were all dead. And what was happening is that we have all started as all beings from your first original blue spark. We have all started in the lower vibrational frequencies and evolved to the next, just like what's happening now. There was one point where we only connected with Earth. Then we connected with Earth and air, and then we connected with Earth, air, fire, then Earth, air, fire, water. That is not an accurate channel in terms of the stages. That's something that I can actually look into. So we've gone through all this process to get to where we are now. So part of that process has been a huge nourishing process. That nourishing process has taught us to take more than give. And because of that taking energy, all of the planets the old Earths that we were on, that we have risen from, their crystal cores were actually dead. They were no longer functioning, and without them being able to function, they were not giving that energy push that was necessary to help Earth beings on the third dimension shift to the fifth dimension. So they need a sonic push. All of this had to be aligned. I just want to add briefly that this, to my memories, is our 6th time awake on this timeline to complete this objective. It is crucial for all timelines. Every possibility has already occurred, everything. So the idea that Earth has completely fallen, and that we become a slave race, and that all our greenery is gone, this has already occurred. We are back on this timeline over and over and over because it is key to balancing the universe for almost 200 or 300 billion years. It's a very long time. So this is key. To my memory, this is the 6th time that we've been here, and to my memory, this is the farthest we have actually come. So I think that deserves a big congratulations. So now back to this.
Interrupt 1 second. I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
Have you done a thing called the template? Where you do a ceremony?
Template where you do a ceremony?
Yeah, it's called the template.
I haven't heard of that specifically.
Okay, after the recording, I'm going to give you some information because what you're talking about has a lot to do with the template, and I think it would be good for you to do it when you can.
Okay, that sounds great. I've tried to come in with this. Okay, thanks. Back? Okay. So, I have a unique ability, like by shown in the tree of life. I connect with the DNA, and I hold the DNA frequency of over 1,000 different beings, dark beings and light beings. I have been all the way above and all the way below. I can go up 23 realms above and 23 realms below. Because of this, I was able to see that even beings that were dark were made with light. Because I could see their light, I tapped into their core truth of why there was such bad interaction between, just for example, the demon race, which is an alien race. So we've got a huge history on Earth of having negative interactions with them. There's some story behind that. So this is a classic fairy tale story. They actually had a princess who was married to a human. This human just wanted access to her power and didn't want to love her and locked her up. He never honored her marriage. And so she was living as a lost, desperately depressed being for eons and eons. And so the demon race she was beloved to them, and so they actually did have a war with humans. It was personal for them. So because I tapped into this, because I go above and below, I was able to what's the word, validate her. I validated her. We spoke, we cleared stuff together. We basically said, nobody had the right to mistreat you that way. Like, you are beautiful. You are a divine creature of God. You are worth everything. And oh, it was really insane. This scream came out of her that was like 1,000 voices. It was very intense, very powerful. And then her skin dropped away and she turned into a purple mist and disappeared. From that point, the demons all came around me, and it was basically, well, what next? And I'm thinking, well, I don't know what to do. But I do know that you're interfering with humans and hybridized humans and awakening humans have a huge job right now. So we need to get you guys doing something that's out of the way. So by connecting with this sphere here, I could see that all of the old energy that's no longer used turns into black ash, and it was dripping down the sides of all of these planets and landing on this island floating at the bottom. I can't recall who at this point, but I was shown how to take that ash, you crush it in your hands, and it makes these incredible celestial diamonds. So the demon beings were brought down here, and this is what they were to do. They were to work at supporting the great shift and staying out of the way. Now, to protect them, because there's a lot of anger towards them, this is what happens. The angels of virtue stepped in and created rainbow spheres around them. So they're only there working on this particular project. Then from there, we changed the crystals, and all of the planets in the center, they all have new planetary crystal upgrades, crystal core upgrades. Soon as this happened, the dodecahedron came in, that heart frequency, that ether healing frequency, that divine Christ frequency, they started spinning. When they started spinning, they started creating their sonic sounds, the Sophelgo frequencies. This Sophelgo frequency jump-started Earth to move into the fifth realm of consciousness. Now, last year, all of our, we had a huge storms, ice storms, trees were knocked down, lakes disappeared, lakes reappeared, and Earth's frequency went up to 639 hertz. 639 hertz is very fast, but this is also the exact same frequency as the dodecahedron. So this to me was proof that we had all ascended to the fifth realm. But it does not mean that we're done. Okay, this is describing me going into the great void as I went in as Rhea. My head appeared as this line of planets, there's actually 12 of them. Again, there are other timelines, so and other parallel universes. So I was in the center. So in fact, it's not just Earth sending, it's all timelines, all realms, all universes. It's everything in creation is ascending at the same time. It's all symbiotic. This is, again, why so many beings are hybridizing and awakening to other species at this time. It's going to go down. Another thing was the sun, and this was something that my ascended twin and I did together, is we helped to shift the frequency of the sun. I talked about the sun is, my heart is the frequency of the sun. So the sun was, we'd shift it into these triangular frequency, which triangles represent mastery, defining, they're totally ascending to the strongest form in the universe, which is the triangle. Okay, here we go. So this is old Earth. This is 3D Earth at the bottom. You can see it's a little bit black. There's not so much light. And this is the 5D Earth at the top. So we are all in the fifth dimension, but we are, if you can see, there's a ring of sludge, like an oil slick around Earth. This is our memories of pain and trouble and trauma and all the things that keep us feeling fear, regret, shame, disassociation, disenfranchisement, all those really lonely feelings are in this frequency around here. It is also the same frequency, and it's just a big oil slick. There's no differentiating point in it. It's just one big oil slick. This is the frequency of terminal illnesses, including cancer, all the disrespect that we're all very aware of that occurs to human and human children and that nature, but also a common cold or stubbing your toe. It all looks the same. What makes it relevant is your story with it. So it's your emotional interaction with it. We have been forgiven. We are free from the third realm, but it's our story around us that we have to fully release to climatize to the fifth realm. And that's where we're at now. We're climatizing to the fifth realm. You can see the fourth dimension, which is in between. I've made this the Piscean eye. I think it makes complete sense. We're more of like of two embryos splitting, like a quantum reality splitting at the same time, a seed turning into a flower. So one of the things that's occurring in the third realm, you can see there's strings attached to it. The black represents the stuff we need to work on, the black strings. Again, you can see the dodecahedron, the stiletto dodecahedron. It's the sphere. It's all around us. Christ, divine. We're love. We're thought. We're community. So the old Earth, the being, the pink plasma being, Her name is Zotfea. So I woke up there in a dream state. So I don't sleep. I just wake up other places. But my body here rests. And we woke up on this third realm. And what we're doing is, I know there were 13 of us because I am the 13th of 12. These are terms that are given to me by my guides. And I'm the 13th of 12. And so what's happening is we have changed the old Earth into a quantum healing ground. So sometimes you might have dreams that you're in this old story of yours and it looks really black and ashen. You're actually going into old Earth to resolve your old trauma, to help release this sludge from your sphere and from the fifth realm sphere. So I see we only have 10 minutes left. This goes faster than I thought.
We can continue. You're the last speaker for the night, so if you want to go over it, okay.
Okay, so here we have, okay, so I'm a part of the Galactic Federations. I'm a part of the Galactic Federation of Beings. I'm a part of the Galactic Federation of Light. I'm a part of the Galactic Federation of Earth. I'm what's called a Creatrix. This is what they have told me, and I'm just repeating that and being present with that. And the far side you have, this is my bedroom or my private quarters on the Federation. This gentleman standing here is, I believe he's a Syrian being, but what's interesting about him is he's got long, straight hair. He is a medic, so he's a warrior and a medic, so he protects me and he heals me. So I will actually go here and I'll wake up here. You're seeing this from me waking up here. This is my angle. I'm looking out of my eyes. And right there is my bed or bath or both. I'm not quite sure. It feels restful like a bath, but it feels cleansing and soothing like a bath. So what you're also seeing, this is pink plasma everywhere. It's kind of sparkling all over me. The center image, so this is the High Priest Anandan of Telos. He is also the ambassador of the Galactic Federation of Earth on Telos. So I go to see him as Ariane, the purple being with the mauve hair, or pardon me, silver hair. I do have challenges in fully transmuting, and bless them, they're so patient with me. I always have to look at my feet and feel my feet on the ground as my step one. And then once I feel my feet on the ground, then I can tap my spinal frequency into the earth there. And that's what helps me feel like I'm there. So just above him is a spaceship. I wanted to paint the inside of the spaceship and my pilot for everyone as well, but I ran out of time. So I go into this spaceship. This spaceship is really interesting. It also feels like a form of plasma. It's like a jelly. The pilot is a female. She actually looks similar to the star beings on the movie The Avatar, but her colors are different. There are differences, but she does look very similar to that. Another thing is the air. Like I can breathe in there, but it's not the same as oxygen that we're familiar with. It's a lot thicker. So at first I thought I was choking, but she told me just to calm down and breathe slower. Once I did that, I totally adapted to being on the spaceship. So we left in this spaceship and it went speed of light. Again, I was seeing all those layers of existence, the sludge. They kept wanting me to see this. This is really important for everybody to know. These are the big messages they want people to comprehend about what's happening around. So this spaceship brings me to the far side, which you'll see. It's not a ship. It is the Galactic Federation headquarters, and it's a floating island in the astral. I couldn't tell you exactly where it is, but we are solar section 32Z PH501, if that resonates with anybody. Okay, so here we have, on the far side, we have Christ Michael. This is the form he likes to take on the ships. Whereas opposed to on his earth form when he was here, he would have looked like a man with a beard. And his geometric form that I showed everyone earlier, that's his light body. In the center, we have the Ashtar. And on the far side, we have the royal commander of the Draconians. This was really important for them to be shown here because they want everybody to understand that all species have stuff that they need to overcome, and they don't want it to be considered that all Draconians are dark and evil. There's many, many, many that are part of Galactic Federation that are very evolved and supportive. So what you have on the far side here is a geometry that was gifted to me by Christ Michael. Again, this was to help me in telekinesis and teleportation, to help me adjust to being on the ship. So this is something for everybody. I have this posted on my page as well. This is what helps part of our evolution. This goes down the spine and into the whole cranial skull system. And this is the sacred geometry given to me to adjust your body's frequencies to teleportation. Okay, again, we have Christ Michael. So this is another sigil that he gives me. This star, this is what helped me. It's a net system. You put the center, stellated dodecahedron, into between your pineal and your crown. And you put this on almost like a hat, and it covers your body. This will reveal to you your highest form and activate astral travel. It'll also activate your crown chakra, and it'll activate your pineal. Here's another image of that. I'll just give everybody a minute to stare at it for about 10 to 15 seconds. Give that a good stare. Go into that 0-point breathing that we shared earlier. Okay, I felt it. Wonderful. One more minute. Perfect. Okay, so here are the strings of the universe. One of the things I keep talking about, the chakras are a holographic system designed almost like a video game to help you comprehend, break down where you are within your bodies, within your field of evolution. And then once you acknowledge them, then you connect it to the one above it, and then above it, and then above it. And it becomes a bridge. Once you're into that bridge, then you're into the higher consciousness of the ethers. Then you no longer need the 13 chakra system. In the fifth realm, we're actually in a 3-body system. But to adapt to that 3-body system and to release yourself of the strings of other people around you, I just want everybody to take a look at how the universe is all these strings. There's no delineation. There's no exact line. This is a Tesla electricity experiment, but I thought it also looked exactly like how when your strings of self are feeling out the space all around you and maybe going into other people's fields, or their fields are coming into yours. This is not healthy. The reason why is that the second you tap into somebody else's field, that's the second you've taken on what they need to do to heal. And this no longer works for us. If you can imagine a blanket, if you gave everybody a string from your blanket that kept you warm, eventually those strings would be pulled loose and there's nothing left of you. I mean, not that detrimental, but just to give you a good analogy. So in the 5th dimension, what you want to do is you want to take those strings and pull them into yourself, pull them into your field, and you want to become a sphere of light. You want to become a sphere of light in your body, in your center system, your what's this torso. So from your root to your crown. Then you want to be from your crown to the center core. And then you want to be from your feet to prime creator. This is a 3-sphere system, and you become, essentially, you're becoming a master of self. This is water vibration and how we are vessels of water. We all know that we're 90% water. So when you work with vibrations, sound, frequencies, this is how it looks like. So this is how it looks when you're using vibrations such as ohming or 639 hertz. This is how it looks when it's transcending from one aspect of self, cellular self, to another. Okay, so this again is talking about how to keep your strings to yourself. So see how your brain, the human brain, is made up of 100 billion neurons. This is exactly the same as the strings of existence. Our brains are replicas of the universe, are replicas of prime creator. So you just got to, we need to know that we are tethered and strung into everything, even our body's nervous system. And your nervous system is how you start feeling things like I feel somebody's emotions, I feel their vibration, I feel this, I feel that. But we need our nervous system to work solely for ourselves. And we heal people by becoming a strong glow, what are they called? A night house, like when the ships are coming in and they have the big tower with the light. It's kind of that idea. Over here we have this brain, the brain with the central nervous system and the spine. That's exactly what Creator looks like right there. He is a spine with a nervous system and a brain. So when we're adjusting to the fifth realm of consciousness, we want to bring all of that frequency into our spine and allow our body's water system, and biological structure to adapt to that. Okay, so this is just another, I wanted to show this pink plasma image just to give you an idea of being a sphere of energy versus strings that are strung into everything. We are connected. That will never stop. But this is taking responsibility for your piece of being connected. Okay, so this is going back to how we are sacred geometry and the aspects of the platonic solids are what define the energy body systems that we work with between us and the universe. So just going back into teaching how the dodecahedron energy comes into our sphere of existence. Okay, here we go. So this was gifted by the Pleiadians, the Syrians, and the Blue Avians. This came in with the Diamond Light Surgence, the last full moon. This was after all that retrograding madness of this summer. This was a gift from these beings to help um, support our biological structure. Awakening can be very painful. It can be physically painful, emotionally painful. It can be shocking. You can feel just thrown out of your life and you don't know where to find peace again. Um, I will tell you, all alien beings work in community, so community is key. But this is a particular cellular shifter, and this will help your biological and all the fluids in your body that compromise or comprise like your endocrine system, your spinal fluid, all the fluids in our bodies that comprise our liquid biogenetic makeup. So if you can just stare at this for a moment. If you could just stare at this for a moment and adjust this to your body's frequency. This is a gift from the Galactic Federation of Light. I'll give you about 10 seconds. Using that 0-point breath. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I make a little noise when I feel it go in. Really beautiful. Okay. Now here we have, this was gifted to me by the Alpha Centurions. They took me on their ship and did a profoundly amazing healing. I was there as myself, as well as Octavia Maria, as well as Zotfea, as well as the Rainbow Celestial Being, Serpent. And I kept transmuting between all aspects. And so the Alpha Centurions, they sat in a circle of 12 around me, and they had this material. The ship was made of this material so advanced. My words will really fall short here, but their consciousness was connected to the material, and the material was connected to them, and they were connected to each other. So through their consciousness and their knowing with this material, they were shifting and creating these geometries that were coming into my body through the material, through their consciousness, and doing the healing. It was incredible. And then they would come into my physical realm where I am here and almost like do a qigong move of energy and shoom, push this into my chest. It poof, knocked the wind out of me at first. So basically what this is this is the frequency to upgrade your ability to accept the oxygen levels of the crystalline DNA that's coming in now that we're adapting to the fifth realm of consciousness. Big sentence there, but that's what this is. Again, I'll give you a few moments to adjust to this frequency. Okay. Okay. So here we have my final piece for the quantum Reiki. Now this was gifted to me by Gabrielle. Christ Michael gave this to me from the Golden Book of Sacred Geometry, and this is Gabrielle's piece. Now the center point of it, this is really wonderful. In a shamanic state, I astral travel to the bottom of the ocean. I shape shift into this really beautiful mermaid. And I sit at the bottom of the ocean, and there's a gentleman sitting there holding a ruby stone. And he's very patient with me. Again, I'm still adapting to being able to connect properly, but he has taught me calligraphy of God. So this is in fact a sword of light. So this sword of light and the Gabrielle harmonics and the triangles is about harmonizing. This is so if you can just allow this to come down to your spinal column, this will help all the frequencies that I shared today harmonize with your existence of now. Give it about 10 seconds. Perfect. Okay, so this is just a little bit of fun. The being is my star mother, she who has brought me to Earth this time. You know her as Venus. The center, this is a image that I captured with my camera of the tall whites that were here, very peaceful, loving. They just really want to help, adapting to being complete as communities. On the far side, we have, I connect a lot with the woods and the sun, and I did a thing that I feel is similar to quantum physics, where I split an image in half and then mirrored it. And when I did that, I found in the center there we have the baboon. So this is represents Thoth, who is bowing to the sun or bringing the sun frequency. And on the side we have some alien beings and some Aztec gods. You can see his hand shapes a little bit. I hope you can, and the hand in the bottom. These represent Ka. The Ka means warriors of light or warriors of God. Here we have some more images. These are images of beings that came forward from the Galactic Federation of Light. I use the same concept. On the farthest side, this is an image that I captured of Christ Michael in the woods not too far from me, and his rainbow sort of light. You can see he's in the center point there. I have actually never shown this image publicly. It's very sacred. Okay, and now we have, just wanted to share some alien beings. Over here we have a tall white, and this is their creator form. The center is an alien being that shapeshifts into multiple animals that I work with. This other being on the far side, this is another alien. I do not know their names. Most of these beings do not have language. I just heard Katete Natatoratu Une. So they're from the central sun. They're bigger than the planet. This here is a self-portrait that I did of myself. Yes, thank you. This is where I tried to be like, okay, all these wonderful things are great, but at the end of the day, I'm Ariane Saffron. So how do I feel being all these beings? And I did a 3-day ceremony with myself, and at the end of the 3 days, I painted this. And there we go. That is the end of my presentation. We went a little bit over, not too much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was really great. Okay, I'll stop the recording.